Okay, guys, it is Brewski. It is a fine Sunday afternoon, and I decided I'm going to do something rather unconventional. Long story short, I've realized that there are things that I've wanted to build and I've wanted to show you guys that have a lot of different steps to them. I might walk you through a part at a time, a little bit at a time, and realistically, that's going to just kind of add up. And I can show you every little step, but you might not want to be there for that. So I'm going to show you the basics of terrain making. I'm going to do one thing, one little step at a time, each video. And that's going to take you through things on a level where you'll see everything in depth of that one little step. And then I can later on say, oh yeah, when I, did such and so, this is the video for it, point to a card, and you'll be able to see that. So I'm going to start with something very, very basic. This is out of the Citadel's How to Make Terrain book. You've seen various people do this. MS Paint is one of them, and he does this quite a bit. I'm going to show you guys how to make really, really simple bases out of cardboard and tape and hot glue. Yeah. Okay, here's what you need. Cardboard, duh. Something to cut with. Something to write with. A hot glue gun. Have some extra sticks handy. And Scotch tape. This is painter's tape. I use the rough surface. This is not frog tape. It just sticks better. It's a little bit more, but you can use the blue stuff totally fine. So cardboard is generally agreed to be a shit material, and it really is. It bends, it's flimsy, it's weak, but it's also in near infinite supply, and if you order from Amazon like I do, you have a mountain of it. So take whatever it is, piece of terrain that you want to stick on your base, whether it's a rock or a building, and trace out the shape of it. In this case, I'm just making a shape, picking something out, and that's what's going to be here. Get that cut out. Now, this is what I was saying about the corrugation. So we have our ridges in the cardboard going this way on the top piece, and the piece that's going to go under, look which way the ridges are going. And you want to make these go perpendicular, because what's going to happen is when you glue this down, one piece will only bend in one direction, and the other piece is going to want to bend in a different direction. And the two will hold each other together better than they would if you put them together with the cardboard corrugation going the same direction. So trace that out so you get the perpendicular, cut that out. This one is, we're going to make this second piece smaller. So don't worry about being right on the lines. You just need to make it a little bit smaller around all the edges than the other piece was. I've seen this part done where there is a sizable gap between the edge of the two cardboard pieces. In other words, you have half an inch to an inch sometimes. The only reason I don't like doing it that far myself is because it can get really flimsy. You have one piece of cardboard that's just going to be held by tape. It's a lot more susceptible to bending and warping. So my rule of thumb is to keep the two pieces relatively the same size and shape. So you can see when I stick that on, there's not a lot of overlap. It's just enough to have a little bit of a slope on the edge. That's it. At this point, just trim it up to fit if there's any areas that don't, or anything that's just right on the edge. Just make it how you want it to look. Now for a cheeky little time-saving trick, while you're heating up your hot glue gun, start ripping off pieces of your masking tape and lay those out like I am here. You can cut these or rip them in half down the middle because you're going to want some thinner strips, just trust me. But get a bunch laid out, and that'll save you a step. Once your glue gun heats up, go ahead and heat up the underside. Glue up the underside, I should say. And give this a good coverage. You don't want this to be skimpy. You really want this to stick everywhere it's going to meet the larger piece on the bottom. It just makes sure it's not going to move around that way. As you can see, I'm trying to bend this. It's actually pretty sturdy now because I did that trick with the corrugation. So now we're going to take our tape, and all we're going to do is we're going to stick this on the edges, going from the top to the bottom, or the bottom to the top, whichever way you want to go. And we're going to go around clockwise or counterclockwise and just make sure that we cover both edges. Now, what this does is it removes the it doesn't look like you just have a flat sort of wireframe looking surface. You actually have a slope there. And when you get to the irregular parts, the curvy parts, use your thinner strips and just make sure they overlap again, because when you have that little edge of tape at the corner, the next piece you put on pulls that under. And as you go around the whole base, it evens out, rounds out, looks like a perfect gradient. And there's the base. Usually on the bottom, I'll just run and put a piece of tape so it's a little more protected. You don't have to, I do. And you can then attach whatever you're going to the top of this. I have another piece I made a while back that's an urban ruin. You can paint it, flock it, add bits, whatever. This is just universally usable on any piece of scatter terrain you want to build. So I hope that's helpful. If it is, do me a favor, like the video, share it to your friends working on terrain projects, and I'll see you on the next one. Later.